In today's guide, I will help you discover your perfect main champion. According to UWG, nearly 50 different champions are being played in the jungle this season, which can make it a bit overwhelming to choose the right one. But don't worry, by the end of this guide we will narrow it down to a few champions you will absolutely love to play. Whether you're a new player returning to the game or simply looking for something fresh, this guide has you covered. Before we dive in, let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Forrest and I have been playing League for a while now, so I know how tough it can be to find that one champion you click with. That's exactly why I'm making this series, and trust me, there's more to come. I will be covering everything from picking a secondary champion to the best one-trick picks and much more in the future episodes. If you like the idea and don't want to miss out on what's next, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got a lot of content planned that I think you will love. Let's start with the fighter class, which is one of the most popular choices in the jungle. Fighters give you a solid mix of damage and tankiness, and there are 5 different types of them. First we have the early game fighters. These champions are all about making a big move early in the game, ganking lanes and snowballing your lead. If you like to get into action right away and make things happen fast, this is the class for you. The downside though is that as the game goes on, you might not be as impactful in teamfights, but if you are looking to dominate the early game, champions like Warwick and Sinzhao are perfect for you. Next up we have the mid game fighters. These champions are a bit more well-rounded. They might not be as strong in the early game, but once they hit level 6 and unlock their ult, that's when they really start to shine. As a farming jungler, your early focus will be on farming camps rather than ganking. This is how you set yourself up for a powerful mid-game and solid team fighting. Your goal is to farm efficiently, unlock your ult as soon as possible, and then look to make plays whenever your ult is off cooldown. Mid-game fighters excel at this. If you are new to this playstyle, Nocturne is a great option to start with. Thanks to his ultimate, he can easily switch from fighter to assassin mode and take down squishy targets like mages or ADCs with ease. Third, we have the late game fighters. The 2 champions that really stand out here are Shyvana and Master Yi. While there are other great late game fighters with strong scaling like Lilia, I would place her in a different category that I will get into later. Maybe even as a mid game fighter once she gets her ult. But Yi and Shyvana are in a league of their own. As a late game fighter, your main focus will be on farming and scaling with weaker ganks early on, even after hitting level 6. These champions are damage machines, relying less on a big ultimate to turn the tide of the fight and more on their insane DPS. If you are looking to try out this playstyle, Master Yi is a great starting point. Once he is farmed up, he can match through enemies with ease. Alright, let's talk about fighter mages. These champions mix AP spells with some tankiness, which makes them stand out. Unlike normal fighters who rush into fights, fighter mages need to think a bit more about when and how to use their abilities. They usually have more crowd control, so instead of just diving in, you will be looking to land that big ult or ability to catch enemies off guard. If you want to try this style, Lilia is a great pick. She is one of the easiest fighter mages to learn. Her jungle clear is simple, and once you get used to her speed, kiting becomes much easier. Personally, I love Lilia. She is my favorite and the most fun. If you are not sure if you will like this playstyle, try her for 10-15 games and see how it feels. Or if you want to drop a huge nuke and yell bomba when you land a Gragas ult, he is also a good pick. But keep in mind, he is usually off meta and a bit weaker, like Sylas. To wrap things up, we have the fighter tanks. These champions are a mix of mid-game fighters and tanks, but they trade off some damage to become more tanky. If you are someone who likes tanking but doesn't want to go full tank, then this subclass is for you. Volibear is my go-to recommendation here. He's like a better version of Warwick, though Warwick is doing well at the moment too. Volibear has a better jungle clear and you can build him to be tanky, damage heavy or somewhere in between. He is perfect if you want a bit of a slower start than Warwick but still want to dive into fights and don't feel like committing to a full tank. Now we are talking about the assassins, the class everyone loves to play. Who doesn't want to sneak around and suddenly pop out and take down a target with one shot? It's fun, flashy and feels amazing. Assassins are all about those flashy plays, but here's the downside. They are weaker early on. That's why it's a good idea to avoid fighters in the early game. They are tanky and can easily shut down an assassin before they have a chance to scale up. If you are looking to try out this playstyle, Talon is an excellent pick. He's a bit of an exception because of his ability to make plays early with his ignite and passive, letting him snowball faster than most assassins. Just be patient because this class is all about waiting for the perfect moment. After you get your first item and you have your ult, soon you will be the one making the big plays. It's all about picking the right spot to strike. You are generally going for a full damage build, so you are super squishy as well. And if that does not sound right, then the next class is probably better for you. If being the main carry isn't your thing and you would rather play a role that's in almost every game, then tanks are a great choice. This class makes you incredibly hard to kill. Unless you fall way behind, you will be able to soak up tons of damage and still keep going. Plus, tanks let you make plenty of mistakes without being punished too hard. Tank junglers usually compact with lots of crowd control, meaning they may not win 1v1 against fighters, but their ganks are strong both early and once they hit level 6. Tanks are perfect if you enjoy being the frontliner, setting up plays and creating space for your carries to shine. And unlike assassins or fighters, you don't have to worry about snowballing. No matter if you are ahead or behind, you will always be useful. In fact, most tank junglers naturally fall behind in gold and XP, but that's completely fine. Your items are cheap and your base stats keep you tanky even before you are full build. This class is all about having high impact abilities that can change the course of a fight. My recommended pick is Amumu. Even though he can go for full damage builds too, you would be surprised how much damage he and Zac can actually dish out with tank item. Next off, we have the true Mage Junglers. High damage AP casters with 0 tankiness but tons of damage. These champions thrive in scaling and team fighting, but their early game is usually on the weaker side. Unlike assassins, they don't have to snowball through kills. Instead, keeping up in farm and reaching your item spikes is all you need to become a game-changing force in fights. However, this class isn't the easiest to pick up. If you are a newer jungler, you might struggle with their squishiness and reliance on good positioning. But if you already have jungler experience and just want a fresh main, Brand and Morgana are solid starting options. I would avoid Karthus or Talia unless you are really dedicated. Both have difficult mechanics and it's not worth suffering through their learning curve just to test if you like the playstyle. If you are ready to try something new, give Brand or Morgana a shot. We have arrived at my favorite category. As many of you know, I'm a Grace main who also loves playing Kindred. These two are the only AD carry junglers in League right now, and their unique playstyle makes them incredibly fun. No matter the meta, they have always been solid picks, sometimes overpowered, sometimes weaker, but always capable of carrying in the right hands. Their range advantage lets you bully melee junglers early on, but even if you don't dominate right away, their scaling is insane. Kindred is like an upgraded version of Grace, doing everything he does just a little better, but she's also much harder to master. So if you are just starting out, Graves is the better pick to try out this class. If you love the high DPS, kiting heavy playstyle of an ADC but prefer the jungle over bot lane, these two are your best bet. You can kite fighters, outscale most opponents and melt tanks with ease. It's a well-rounded, high-rewarded playstyle if you are willing to put in the time to master it. Let's talk about our last category as well, since we talked about ADCs and we talked about tanks, which could be good support champions in the jungle, but what if you prefer an enchanter? There is one champion for you who is none other than Ivan. He's probably the most unique champion in the game and a true support in the jungle. His strength lies in buffing teammates, setting up plays and controlling vision rather than raw damage or running power. While he locks the game pressure compared to traditional junglers, his utility, shields and Daisy make him a teamfight monster in the mid to late game. If you enjoy supporting your team, making smart macro plays and enabling your carries rather than carrying fights yourself, Ivan is the perfect pick. Just keep in mind, he plays nothing like a typical jungler, so he might take some time to get used to. Alright, that wraps up first episode of my new series. I hope you found it helpful, but if you are serious about mastering these champions and improving fast, make sure to join my Discord server. We discuss the best champions, strategies to climb and much more. I'm actively building a community there, so don't miss out. The fastest way to climb is through coaching, and I'm offering free jungler coaching for new Discord members as well as paid coaching for those who want to take their gameplay to the next level. Not sure if it's worth it? Just check out the reviews from players I have coached recently, and if you are new, book a free session to get a sneak peek of what my coaching looks like. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe if you would like to support my work, and as always, see you all in my next video.